Hello everyone, I'm Paul and this is problem 3702, longest subsequence with non-zero bitwise XOR. This is a medium problem and next I will show you my thought process and efficient solution. We are given an integer array nonce, so let's say that we are given this. Our job is to return the length of the longest subsequence in the array with a bitwise XOR value that's different from 0, and if there's no such subsequence we have to return a 0 instead. In case you know what a subsequence is, we can form it by removing some or none of the elements. For example, if we remove this, remaining elements 1 and 3 form a valid subsequence. We could form another one by removing this element or these two elements, okay? And here you should be familiar with the bitwise XOR operator. Let's say that we do 1 XOR 2. How do we get the result here? Well, 1 in base 10 corresponds to 1 in binary. 2 in base 10 corresponds to 1 0 in binary. Why? Well, because we need 1 2 to the power of 1 and 0 2 to the power of 0. This is equal to 2, which corresponds to the base 10. So, how do we do 1 XOR 2? What's the result here? Well, this operator returns true or 1 whenever we have different bits. Here we have 1 and 0, so the result is 1. Next, here this is as if we had a 0, so we have different bits, which means that the result here is 1. So the result of 1 XOR 2 is equal to 1 1 in binary, which corresponds to 3 in base 10, because we are using 1 2 to the power of 1 plus 1 2 to the power of 0. 2 plus 1 is 3. So how do we get the XOR value of this array? Well, we do 1 XOR 2, which is equal to 3, and then we do 3 XOR 3, which is equal to 0. This is very important. Whenever we do some number XOR the same number, the result is 0, because remember that this operator returns true or 1 whenever we have different bits. If we are using 3, which corresponds to 1 1 in binary, and we do this XOR the same bits, the result will be 0 0, okay? And the same happens with every other number, so keep this in mind. So we have to return the length of the longest subsequence in the array with a bitwise XOR value that's different from 0. Maybe you are thinking about iterating every possible subsequence, but how many subsequences do we have here? In any valid subsequence, we can either take or not take this element, which means that we have two choices. Regarding this element, we can either take it or not take it, so we have two choices. And here we have two choices, which means that we can form 2 times 2 times 2 possible subsequences. And this is exactly the same as 2 to the power of n subsequences. Down here we have the constraints, and we know that the length of the array, meaning n, can be up to 10 to the power of 5. And 2 to the power of 10 to the power of 5 is a huge number. So there's no way to iterate every possible subsequence. We have to think about something else. So if we're given this input, we have the numbers 1, 2, 3. These are base 10 representations. And here we have the corresponding base 2 or binary representations. If we do 1 XOR 2 XOR 3, meaning if we take all the elements, the result is 0. Because 1 XOR 2 is equal to 1 1 in binary, which corresponds to 3. And 3 XOR 3 is equal to 0 0, which corresponds to 0 in base 10. This means that we should remove something from the elements that we are taking. Maybe we have to remove this element, maybe we have to remove these two, and so on. So how do we know what to remove? Well, let's look at the binary representations. Let's say that we are looking at the first position, meaning the rightmost position, and we are taking the final XOR value of these bits. 1 XOR 0 is equal to 1, and then 1 XOR 1 is equal to 0. And this makes sense because we have two set bits, meaning 2 bits that are 1, and 2 is an even number. Whenever we have an even number of set bits, the final XOR value of the corresponding position is 0 because of the nature of XOR. This only returns true whenever we have different bits. So if the final XOR value of the entire array is 0, that's because we have the perfect balance to get this 0. We have 2 set bits in this position and 2 set bits in this position. If we remove only one of these 4 bits, we break the balance. We could remove this bit or this bit or this one or this one. If we remove any of this, we return something that's different from 0, which is enough for a valid result. And this means that we can remove either this element or this element or this element. It's exactly the same. If we remove a 3, now the final XOR value is 1, 1, which corresponds to 3. If we remove these 2, the final XOR value is 1, 0, which is 2. And if we remove this 1, the final XOR value is 0, 1, which is 1, different from 0. So we can remove any of these 3 elements. So the main idea is the following. Let's say that we only have these 2 elements in the array, 1 and 2. The XOR value of the entire array is 1 XOR 2, right? Which is equal to 1, 1, which corresponds to 3. Given that this is different from 0, we can return the full length. We take a subsequence with all the elements, so the result in this case is 2. If we have something like this, the result of 1 XOR 2 XOR 3 is equal to 0. And we can remove any of these 3 elements in order to get a number that's different from 0. So the final result in this case would be the total number of elements, meaning 3 minus 1, which is 2. We return this. Now here we have the constraints, and the numbers that we are given can be zeros. Let's say that we are given an array with 3 zeros. What do we do now? Well, the XOR value of 0 XOR 0 XOR 0 is equal to 0. If we return 3 minus 1, the result is 2, but this is wrong. The result should be 0, because if we remove one element, the final value is still 0. If we remove 2, the final value is still 0, and if we remove anything, well, of course that the final value is 0. In the description it says that if we can't find any valid subsequence, we have to return 0. So here we should return 0 instead of 2. So as we iterate these numbers from left to right to get the corresponding XOR value of the entire array, we can get the total number of zeros in the array. This is initially 0, this is initially 0. First we are here, so this is 1, this is 0, next here, this is 3, this is 0, finally here, this is 0, and this stays at 0, which means that we have 0 zeros. So now we can say if the XOR value is 0 and the number of zeros is different to the total amount of elements, this means that we can actually subtract one element that's different from 0 from this array. But what if we have something like this? In this example, we can do something very similar. First, we are standing at this element, so the XOR value stays at 0, and this is a 0, so we add 1 here. Next, we are standing here, the XOR value is 0, we add 1 0, next here, this stays at 0, and we add 1 0. Given that the XOR value is 0 and the total number of zeros is equal to the total number of elements, we will never be able to reach a value that's different from 0. So at this point we can just return 0, okay? And for the final scenario, if we only have these 2 elements, we start with this one, the XOR value is 1, this is 0, next we continue with 2, this is a 3, and this is a 0. Given that the XOR value is different from 0, we can return the total number of elements right away, meaning 2. And by doing this, we are handling every possible test case with or without zeros. Overall time complexity will be big O of n, where n is the amount of numbers in the array, and space complexity big O of 1. So with this in mind, let's go with the code. First, n is the length of the array that we are given, and the initial XOR value is 0. The initial amount of zeros is 0, and now for every number in the array, we can say XOR bitwise XOR equal the current number. And if this number is equal to 0, then we add 1 to the amount of zeros. After doing this, we can check if the final XOR value is equal to 0, then we can check if the number of zeros is equal to n, because in this scenario, we will never be able to get a number different from 0, so we have to return 0. If we don't return 0, this means that the number of zeros is different from the total number of elements, so we can just return n minus 1. We have at least one element to remove. If we are here, this means that the XOR value, the final XOR value, is different from 0, so we can just return the initial number of elements. We don't have to remove anything. And this is the entire code, so let's submit this and see if it works. As you can see, this works and it's very efficient, so if you found this useful, please drop a like, subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.